I've been really fortunate to have worked with some pretty extraordinary players, conductors, ensembles. I mean, that's one of the things that I feel very blessed about. And I think each commission that you get is really unique, and that's good. I don't think I ever want to repeat myself. And every time I have a commission, there are always a set of exigencies that you have to take into account. You're looking at the size of the ensemble, what their strengths are, what the actual functionality of the work will be for the occasion, and that clearly informs your decision as to what you're going to write. When I write for the Chicago Symphony, I know that their brass section, which I grew up with on LPs, is probably the best in the world. So when I wrote for them, my great challenge was to find something that the brass section could do that would make them sound just incredible, because I love that sound. When I'm writing for chorus, I have a sound in my head that is just, it's the platonic ideal of what I want the chorus to sound like. I want to hear that. If I'm writing for a particular chorus that has certain strengths, I'm obviously going to try to play to those strengths. You know, that's sort of the broad picture. When it comes to writing a piece for someone like Eliot, it's a little bit unique, because my relationship to Eliot, it's not just that we're friends. I mean, I'm friends with some of the other people that I write music for. It's that the guitar itself is such an impenetrable instrument, especially for someone who is not a guitarist, to write for. So when you're trying to crack the code of that instrument, and it is an instrument which has scared off many composers before me. Believe me, most of my colleagues do not want to touch it, and they can't really understand why I'm doing all of this. Well, one of the reasons I'm doing all of this is because I know that I have, as a collaborator, I have someone like Eliot who's incredibly creative. So I can test things in a way that I need to with the guitar, unlike other instruments, which if I write for the piano, I know exactly what it's going to be like. Even if I'm not a violinist, I know what a violin will be like. And I can write for a great player, and I will work with that player, and it will be a wonderful collaboration. But it won't be the same as when I'm writing for Eliot, because with Eliot, we're actually discovering new things that have not been done for the instrument. Now, there are many new techniques. For example, when you're writing for flute, you have a number of overtones, overblowing. There are a number of things that you can do with that instrument that you can be experimental on. When I write for flute, sometimes I have a fellow in New York who is just a real guru to me, and he comes over and we work together, and he helps me out. I'm trying to figure out how to either notate it or how to get the sound that I'm hearing in my head. I mean, these sorts of things are wonderful, just so special collaborations that you have between people. But since we're talking about the guitar, again, the guitar is kind of unique in this sense. So writing for Eliot throughout the years has been a bit of a more unique experience, and that, on the other hand, doesn't mean that just because I've written in collaboration with Eliot that I don't desire, and feel a strong necessity for other players to play it, because I love the idea that I can write a piece of music and that it can be looked at from different angles and different corners by many other people. And that's part of the beauty of writing a piece of music, which is that you see it one way, and then somebody else can come in and then enliven it and breathe life into it in a way that you even didn't imagine. Sometimes you don't necessarily love what they do, but more often than not, if it's a really mature and wonderful performer, you're always learning something when you hear somebody go, or an ensemble go and play your work in a way with real care. It's one of the great joys of really being a composer, is to have composers beyond have performances beyond the premiere, and sit back and actually experience your music as repertoire. as opposed to just, you know, a new piece that's being born. And wow, isn't that exciting? But come back to it and just be able to sit in the audience and experience it and look at other people, you know, taking it in, seeing how other people come at it and approach it from a completely wholly different you know, angle than you've actually thought. So it's really one of the great joys of being a composer.